So, in the context of a parent, and I know a lot of people that I know who are parents, they've been talking about burnout with balancing everything at home, balancing everything at work, and friends and family not being able to travel and so on. So, what are some of the things that a parent might be able to do to manage their own stress levels if they're not feeling like they can cope right now?
I I'm happy to jump in.
Please.
Um, I think that the first thing is to actually acknowledge that you're feeling burnt out. So when we go on autopilot and kind of numb out how we feel, we might not even realize that we're sort of parenting below what is sort of acceptable. And so knowing like catching yourself where you're like, why am I feeling more resentful, or why is my energy changing? Why am I not wanting to get out of bed in the morning? Like some of those signs about how we think and how our body is sort of talking to us,
Mhm.
that might be acknowledging I'm not doing so okay. It doesn't mean that you knock on your teen kid's door and tell them that you're, like, worried that you have depression, but it would be acknowledging it, and I would say reaching out to someone that you know that has the ability to hold space for you to talk about what you're going through, because it may be very well in the norm of a natural reaction to what
Yeah.
we've all been through, um, and for some people, it might actually be going to a family doctor and speaking about what they're noticing in their body, and for people too, having an awareness of how sometimes not so great habits have started to sneak into a life that can be a sign of a deeper cause. Like, I'm finding myself drinking half a bottle of wine every night. This is a year and a half later. What's going on? And maybe underneath some of that substance use or misuse is actually an unrecognized low, like, burnout level.
Yeah.
Um, and and I think we're human, right? So there are times when we are going to struggle and our energy is going to dip. And who do we have in our life that can help balance out our ability to be the best parents we can? And that's the neat thing about having neighbors and family members and partners and co-parents, is that we're not actually supposed to do it by ourselves.
Mhm.
So that's where we reach out and we ask for help. And I think that moment of being really honest and vulnerable and saying, "Hey, I need some support," actually is a huge flip and lesson to our young people that they can do the same thing.
And then I think too, when you talk about that idea of substance misuse, the other thing that comes to mind for me is there haven't been, over the last year and a half, a lot of ways that we have access to that we naturally get dopamine, right? I think about the wine and I think, so by the time we get to Friday, we are talking about parent burnout. We are after Zoom schooling and, summer and, whatever it looked like at camp and the ins and outs with kids, having to isolate and then go back to school. And then the kids don't, are kind of unhappy with it. And you're having to support your kids in that and how they're feeling. It's no wonder by the end of the week we're feeling, sort of like collapse into a chair with a glass of wine sitting next to you. I think, in some ways it's good to start being proactive, even in small ways, and thinking about, what, it would be only natural for anybody to seek out ways to shoot up that dopamine system, artificial ways included, right? But are there ways that we can think of, if we think back in time to before a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, what are the ways that we were doing it well, right? What are the ways that we were helping ourselves to feel good, but doing it in ways that were more balanced, doing it in ways that were more healthy? Maybe we were going for a run every day. Maybe we were, or every other day. Maybe we were having an enormous laugh on a Friday night watching a comedy show with a friend or something like that. And how do we recreate these bits in ways that we feel okay about? Because everybody as well is in different places of comfort with their socializing, right? So some people are fully, I'm going to hang out with other people, I'm going to go to their houses, I'm going to go out to restaurants, I'm going to go here and go there and go everywhere just like I used to. And then there are other people who are really holding back and saying, no, I'm going to maybe do some of that, but not all. I'm being very careful. And there's probably all different places on the spectrum that people are feeling. So identifying those ways that you would feel comfortable and being able to recreate those, ways that we get dopamine naturally, if it's through physical activity, through a really big laugh. When you begin to do that again, what might happen is, this idea of taking away wine isn't necessarily the goal anymore. The goal is adding. What do we add to this situation that's maybe not ideal in order to move in a direction that we want to go?
From a parent that's listening to this video, what's one thing you want them to hear?
The one thing that we probably don't have to tell parents is that they've got eyes on them. They've got, young, little people who are looking to them. So they know that already. But what I think might be helpful would be if I go back to your metaphor of that idea of swimming, and I think about the stress that people are swimming in, what I would say to every parent is, where are those islands, those bits of land that you see as you are swimming, that you think to yourself, you know what, if I went over there, I could breathe. If I went over there, I could rest. If I went over there, I could enjoy just a little bit of sunshine on a beach for a moment, for a period of time, whatever. And I could show that to others who are watching me. That would be my, what I would want to be able to give to any parent, is to say, once you start to look around and actually look for those islands, look for those beaches, look for that beauty, you find places, maybe you can't spend a lot of time there, but how can you spend small bits of time and really make it worth it? Feel that sunshine on your face, feel whatever it is about that place that makes you comfortable.